Hey guys, how's it going today? Happy Monday. Trying to be a little more consistent with my videos today. I wanted to make this video all weekend, but I gave myself the weekend off. And I posted kind of a link to my last video on 30 bananas a day with the title, Why Do I Crave Salt? Just to kind of, draw people in that might be experiencing this type of thing. And it turned into this giant debate with this guy that started talking about craving cheese, which, I mean, I guess, cravings, but the entire debate didn't, after looking at it, it didn't really make sense to me. Because he was saying how he knew that, raw foods were, the way to health, and but then he was talking about how he can't get the calcium he needs. He said he has all the symptoms of calcium deficiency. Well, I'm reading John McDougall's The Starch Solution right now, and there's a chapter in there with tons of research backing it up on how calcium deficiency really doesn't happen. Now, people may come back with the whole osteoporosis thing and this and that, but I would agree with it that calcium deficiency doesn't exist. A lot of people, the calcium is getting displaced within their bodies, largely from an acidic diet. So, acidic being non-plant foods. Animal products are very acidifying in the diet. Some schools of thought believe that grains are acidifying as well. I think the best way to figure out how you're doing is testing your pH. I personally could never get my pH alkaline until I went completely 80-10-10. It was funny, it was actually the fats in my diet were playing a role in the acidity, because fatty acids, amino acids, so fats and proteins are actually acidic. Yeah, so alkalinity comes from kind of backpacking on to my last thing about minerals and salts. Alkalinity comes from a dense source of minerals. Where was I going with this? Yeah, so calcium gets displaced. People get big knuckles in their hands as they get older. It's calcification. It's calcium collecting in different parts of their body because the calcium is not getting the right message, or it's not going to the right place, or it's getting in the bloodstream because the body is acidic, and the body's first priority is blood. So if our blood is acidic, our body's going to go to the densest source of minerals, which are our bones, taking the minerals out, putting it in our blood, and then it gets flushed out our urine, or gets circulated through our body, and it gets deposited in our joints and just all sorts of places we don't want it, in our arteries. And it's a mess. So if you are able to keep your body alkaline, then the minerals like calcium and magnesium and silica and all these things, our bones aren't just made out of calcium, they're made out of many different minerals. When you're alkaline, the minerals stay there. Another factor in, since we're going down this path, with bone health is actually putting some resistance on your bones. If you're sitting around all day and then all of a sudden your bones are starting to wear down, do you really wonder why? If you don't put a little bit of strain on them, why are they going to feel the need to stay strong? It's using your body, going for a walk, little things, weight training, whatever. It creates little tiny microfractures in your bones, and your bones are like, oh, I got to repair this. Okay, I got to keep this stuff here. I got to keep it strong because there's demands. And there was something else I was going with that. Yeah. So lower body needs that. but also our upper body. Like we put a lot of strain on our legs when we're walking and standing, or if you run or whatever. But the upper body, and this is why I really love, like I'm teaching yoga now, and I really love yoga, is that you get into a lot of inversions. You get your hands on the ground. You're putting strain on your arms, on your upper body. Some people, I'm not saying, headstands are for everyone, but some people are, I'm not going up there yet, but I do put pressure on my head. I bring my hips above. I don't lift my feet off the ground, but it's enough that there's a little bit of pressure on my neck, and it causes those bones to get strong. So this is kind of like straying off, but it was just frustrating for me. This person that kept going on and on and on and just wouldn't hear anything I had to say, and is like, no, I'm calcium deficient and none of these plant foods have enough. I can barely get 700 milligrams in, and this and that, and like obsessing over these numbers. And like, shouldn't eating plant foods make it so that we don't have to stress about all these things so much? It's ridiculous. And then he was going on about how he quit doctors a long time ago. Well, I wonder who wrote the Google search that he's reading on all the signs of calcium deficiency, and oh, you need milk and cheese and meat and all these things. And who decides what the RDI is? And how do you know that the needs of a standard American diet eating body needs the same things as someone that's eating plant-based? Like, there's no way. Those standards were created around, I don't know. Like, I was looking at the package of something earlier today, and it said it had like 450% of the daily intake of B12, and it was something like 200 micrograms or something. Well, most people are supplementing a minimum of 1,000 micrograms, sometimes 5,000. I'm personally, every couple days, I'm supplementing 15,000 micrograms of B12 because I have been known to be low in the past, and I know that it's hard to get from our food. And last time I checked, my levels were fine, but I'm still adding that in. Yeah, it's just frustrating. Like, if you're going to argue that you're not into doctors, then you need to be solid about it throughout your entire chain. And if you really want the calcium, don't complain when something like hijiki, which is a seaweed, is really high in calcium but is $20 for a bag. Like, it drives me nuts when someone that's playing the victim just creates excuse after excuse after excuse. And there's so much information available out there, and we also have brains that we can think with. Like really think about the logic. Like, it's just frustrating. Anyway, so that's my little kind of rant information, rant about alkalinity, because I'm big on that. I sell people pH strips all the time. I love it. I think it's an important thing for everyone to do, even just if you do it like for 1 week, just to see where you're at. So anyway, that is it for today. If you like this video, like it, and I will talk to you guys soon.